All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to go over factoring trinomials where a is not 1. We're going to talk about sliding and dividing. It's kind of a new strategy. We're going to go from trinomials that we've been doing, which were very easy, where a equals 1, and it's going to get quite a bit harder here. Can we do like at least one question, then I'll accept your pass? All right. So when we look at this reminds me a lot of the questions on the front. It's a trinomial. It's got those 3 pieces. It's got the x squared, the 9x. It's got the number without x's. It goes 2, 1, 0 on the x's. It reminds me a lot of these questions that we're super good at. We know that the middle number is the add number and the last number is the multiply number. Obviously, what is different about these questions here? We have a number that is also in front of the x squared. We haven't ever had this number before. We've only had numbers in the middle and last position. So this is going to make things, I don't want to say quite a bit harder because we're going to add basically one step, but it is going to make things more complicated than type it in, write it down, type it in, write it down. It's going to turn probably a 20-second question into probably a 40-second question. So still a very short question, but it is going to take us longer. The first step is why we call it slide and divide, is we're going to slide this 2 to the back, and we're going to use multiply because this is the add number and this is the multiply. So when we combine the 2 and the 10 using multiplication, what's 2 times 10? It is 20. I like to write a little 20 right there, kind of floating up above the 10. And now that we've done that, 2 times 10, which wasn't very hard, we're going to go to Desmos, and we're going to use our same strategy. This time, the 2 numbers that we're going to use are the 2 numbers that we haven't used yet, right? We haven't used the 9 yet, and we haven't used the 20 yet. So now we're going to use 9 as the add number and 20 as the multiply number, just like we did before. Make sure you're not zoomed in too far. Look at where they touch. 2 dots. They're both answers. 4, 5 or 5, 4. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to write my answer, parentheses, x in the first position, plus 5, plus 4. Now, remember, this right here should be, if we FOIL it, we should get back to the answer. Okay, we should get back to the question. We should be kind of like having a little bit of a loop here. So, if you're following along, you don't have to write this. Let's say, don't write. Let's say that I wanted to FOIL this together. If I did x times x, that's x squared, x times 4, that's 4x, 5 times x, that's 5x, and 5 times 4, that's 20. There's my FOIL, add up the middle, and I get x squared plus 9x plus 20. Now, is this where we started? No. Because we're supposed to have 2x squared. We don't. We're supposed to have 9x. We do. And we're supposed to have 10, but we have 20. This is the version where we move the 2 to the back, but this doesn't work. Okay, so far, and again, you don't really have to do this foiling stuff. I'm just showing you. So far, the answer that we just got is not correct yet. Okay, so this answer right here, the x plus 5, x plus 4, this answer right now is wrong. Okay, so what are we going to do to make it right? Pretty simple process here, but this is brand new. So even if you feel really good at this stuff, pay attention to me. Please, give me the attention that I need to show you this. What we're going to do is because we started with a 2, we're going to divide by 2, divide by 2. Now sometimes you're going to get a perfect, nice, easy number. Sometimes you're going to get a fraction. And so here's what you're going to do in both cases. Please make sure you're paying attention to me and not distracted by something. You're going to go to Desmos. You're going to type 5 divided by 2. It says 2.5, but we want to use fractions. And guess what? 5 over 2 is still 5 over 2. Now, when we do this, we do not want fraction answers, of course. And so, here's the most interesting part of the whole day. The bottom of the fraction goes in front of the x. So, if you get a fraction and it stays a fraction, you're going to put the bottom in front. 2x plus 5. Now let's do the second half, which is 4 divided by 2. Desmos, 4 divided by 2. Now this one is just a 2. So all we put is x plus 2. Yes. There'll be a video posted in like 20 minutes.
Thank you.
Real-time video request. How fascinating. So, if you divide and you just get a number, just put the number, no big deal. If you get a fraction, you gotta slide the bottom in front. It's not crazy hard math, but it is all about being organized. You have to remember the rules. For example, in first period today, somebody took all the top numbers and put the top numbers in front. That's not a good way to do every single question wrong. The bottom number goes to the front. Now, when we do this first question, it probably seems crazy, but trust me, when we do a couple more questions, this will feel very doable. All right. You have been asking me to go to the bathroom for a while, so I'll accept it, Earl. I am a little bit nervous. You're missing the notes, but here you go, man. Don't take too long. I want you to be back at least for the last one. All right. Question B, we have the 3 out front. We have to slide, oh goodness. We have to slide it to the back, and what is 3 times 4? 12. Is 12. So now, we're going to do our Desmos piece with the middle number and the multiply number using 12. Remember how important negatives are. Negative 13, bottom. Positive 12, look at where they touch, and I heard negative 12, negative 1, that's right. So I'm going to put down here x minus 12, x minus 1. But remember, that is not correct. I need to divide by whatever number is out front. So I'm going to divide by 3 and divide by 3. If that fraction simplifies to a normal number, no stress, just write it down. If that fraction stays a fraction, put the bottom in front. Not really all that hard. So the first one is negative 12 divided by 3. It says negative 4. Easy. X minus 4. It doesn't stay a fraction, so fine. I'll be honest with you, at least guaranteed one of them will stay a fraction. Like that is a guarantee. One of them will stay a fraction. So since that one was not a fraction, I have a feeling that this one's going to be a fraction. Negative 1 divided by 3 is still negative 1 divided by 3. Which number goes out front? The bottom. So you just put 3x minus 1. The bottom goes out front. At the end of the day, we're adding a step. Mathematically, it's not that much harder of a step. You just have to stay organized. Here you go. We only have 2 more questions here on the notes because the process is the same thing over and over again. Once we do a couple questions, it starts to feel really easy. Take the 6 and slide it to the back. And be careful. When you multiply the first number times the last number, what do you get? 30. And it's not 30. Negative 30. I cannot stress enough how important that negative sign is. 6 times negative 5. Look how I'm highlighting on the negative. So now we go to Desmos. The middle number is negative 13. The end number is negative 30. Negative 15, positive 2. So we're going to do x minus 15 and x plus 2. We're just going to keep moving, divide it by this number. Type it in Desmos and see what happens. Negative 15 divided by 6. Hit the fraction. So this is a negative 5 over 2. That 2 goes in front. So it should be. Now be careful. I heard somebody just kind of say the wrong answer. Once we typed this in Desmos and it told us this, these are the numbers we need. Not 6 and 15. We need 5 and 2. So we're going to go with the 2 out front and the 5 after the x. 2x minus 5. Again, we're not going to use 6 and 15 because when we typed them in Desmos, it gave us a simpler answer. The next one is 2 divided by 6. The answer is 1/3. And so we're going to put the 3 in front with a plus 1. And I hope already you're starting to feel more comfortable with this. I hope already you're feeling like these questions are kind of repetitive and we're doing the same process. It's just a more complicated process than before. All right, I'm going to give you a little bit of probably 1 minute to try this on your own. I'll start a 1 minute timer and we'll see if you can get this answer. Please don't shout it out if you do get the answer. 1 minute timer. See if you can find the answer to question number, letter D, I suppose. Slide it, type it in, and then divide it. Slide and divide. This is the last question we're doing, and then we got classwork, easy Friday. 8. Oh. All right, there's your 1 minute timer. Pause it before it goes off and reminds me of my alarm when I wake up and makes me unhappy. So we're going to multiply this 12 to the back. Did you get negative 60? Very importantly, negative. Once we get negative 60, we can go to Desmos and get that in our little puzzle solver. 11 and negative 60. Look at where they touch. I'm seeing 15, negative 4, x plus 15, x minus 4. Now I'm going to need to divide by the 12. Type things in Desmos and see what I get. I heard I'm going to get 5 over 4. I do get 5 over 4. So which number goes in front? The 4 should be the front number. Whatever's on the bottom slides to the front. The last one, I heard it should be 3x minus 1. Let's see, negative 4 divided by 12. I get negative 1/3. I'm going to slide the 3 to the front. So I'm going to get 3x minus 1. And that's the answer. All right. That's the 4 questions we did. It is not mathematically very tough. Desmos does every single step for us, but it is organization. You have to be organized. If you look at your whole paper, I hope you recognize that every single one of these questions has the same setup. Look, green, multiply it to the back, write the number up top, write the first pair, divide them by the number, get your answer. Look how nice and repetitive this is. All right, that is solving trinomials with a greater than 1. That is slide and divide. Woohoo!